Hello and welcome to the very first episode of SPADS, the podcast. 4 dads, but there's only 3 of us because...
Standard.
Yeah, Lee Goebel has dropped out. But first of all, how are we doing, gentlemen?
All good, mate, thanks.
Yeah.
Yourself, you all right?
Yeah. Right, so, the only people that's watching us at the moment would like to be our wives and family, friends and kids.
Kids will watch it.
So, but I do think we should introduce ourselves and our families. This is mainly going to be a sports-related / golf / talking...
Dad jokes.
Type of podcast. I'll go first. So, my name's Kevin. My nickname in the group is Bryson, which we will explain later.
He gave the nickname himself.
No, I didn't. My handicap currently, as we said before, we're 4 bang average golfers, and you'll get this from my handicaps. My handicap is 23.6, and that's about right because I'm not very good. I'm a father of 3 daughters, and I'm married to Vicky. Who wants to go next?
Go on, Kev. Okay. So, my name's Kev. My nickname is Brucey. Brucey for Brucey Bonus. Married to Kelly, who's pretty awesome. Obviously, that's why I married her.
Got to get that in.
Obviously, she'll have to say
that's not what he says on the Sunday morning, is it?
A father to 3 kids, Riley, Jacob and Lacey. Obviously, they're pretty awesome as well, just like their mum. And my handicap is...
Can we cut the video?
It's a loving.
Yeah. 32. I think my handicap's 32.8. It's not great, but it's getting there. So
improving all the time. And Mr. Pope.
Yeah, I'm Dave. 3 kids, married to the lovely Sophie. Handicap is going up just in time for our summer tournament, hopefully, and it's 21.2.
You are 21.2, yeah. You started off at like 18 or something, didn't you?
Yeah, but that was because I was a bit of a bandit back then.
Yeah, aren't you going down to single figures, weren't you told?
Oh, well, I will be down to single figures sooner or later, maybe off to 1 hole. Yeah. That's all that matters, isn't it? 1 hole at a time.
I think it's important to mention the football teams we support. So the 2 Kevs, we're United fans.
Yay.
And Dave doesn't like football.
Well, I'm the only one who knows about football.
You are a Liverpool fan.
A Liverpool fan, yes. And then the guy's not with us, Mr. Gable. Unfortunately, he's another Man United fan.
Yeah, so we've got 3 Man United fans and 1 Liverpool. So we might be a bit skewed when it comes to United. And we've got some important United chat to have today with the announcement. And we might as well, let's start with that. So Man United announced today, mutual consent, that Ronaldo and Manchester United have parted ways. What do we think? Right decision?
100%.
Well, he probably was one of the better players in the world, but now he's past it. So yeah, definitely get rid of him.
What's your view from a Liverpool fan? Do you think after the interview, do you think it's even for your hate for Manchester United? What's your view of the whole situation?
If I'm all honest, I didn't even hear the interview or read about it because it's Man United. I don't like them. Why would I want to do anything with Man United? I only know Ronaldo's gone because he got a message in the group from you guys.
So you see none of the things he said? I didn't watch it because...
Didn't need to, did you really?
Well, also because I don't want to. I just think if someone's paying you £500,000 a year, no matter how upset... We've all been upset at work, right, before. You're self-employed, Dave, so it doesn't really matter.
Always upset at work, yeah.
But, to come out and do that, you show a bit disrespect, I think. But, So you think it's a good decision, Kev?
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. He knew what he was doing. But to be fair, I think I kind of like that United now have just gone, do you know what? Obviously, with Ten Hag, I think obviously he's not taking it. And it's kind of worked in his favour because he's gone, right, I've dealt with it. It's done. And I kind of like it's done now and not gone on for another few weeks. And I think he was trying to get out. Let's be honest. Everyone said about he might go to another Premiership. I don't really care. What's he going to do? Go and score a couple of goals? He ain't going to go to Man City or Chelsea. Do you know what I mean?
Liverpool. Okay,
yeah. Liverpool. He won't go to Liverpool, no. We don't have old people other than Milner, who's
he's like the oldest geezer in the Premier League.
First class professional Milner. Look at him.
What, Ronaldo's not?
No. Milner would never come out and say anything bad about a club.
No,
that's true, I suppose.
Yeah, it's true.
That's only because
And he likes to drive Bina.
And then obviously Man United have announced that they're potentially up for sale as well. Maybe a coincidence that it's coincided with Ronaldo situation, but again, what do we think about that?
I think it's good. I mean, I think there's been talk about it for the last few months. I think once Ed Woodward was gone and the whole Super League, I think once that happened, I think they realised, and to be fair, I think it's quite well known that there isn't as much money, even though you can make money at Man United, there isn't as much cash flow like there was. And I think the Glazers have probably milked it. And I think, hopefully, I think the Chelsea sale, that opened, I think, some of these owners' eyes, like Liverpool and Man United, to think, actually, you know what? There is people out there, and it's probably a lot way further down the line than what we think.
Do we not worry that, we worry, but is it not the possibility that it could be better the devil you know? Could it be someone worse than the Glazers?
You just never know, though, do you? You know, it's like anything in life. Try something new. You might like it, you might not. You got to go with the risk, ain't you?
What are you talking about, Dave?
Pink or brown?
It's not a family show. Right, what I'll do is I think we should ring Goebel while we got him, and just to get his view on it.
Oh, it's working now.
Okay.
Hello.
Mr. Goebel.
How are we?
I'm all right, mate. You?
Yeah, you know, living the dream.
Live on the airways. Do you want to give your excuse of why you're not here tonight?
I work for a company that requires me to work ridiculous times of the day. Today just happens to be one of those days.
Yeah. How is it? Are you back home now? Are you still out on the road?
No, I'm still out and about, mate, in sunny Hatfield.
You're still looking at Aston Martins?
No, I've got into the comms room I needed to get into, but...
He's placed his order.
Lee, what we just spoke about, and I don't know if you've seen it because you've been out there, but I just wanted your opinion on it while we thought we'd give you a call. Have you seen that obviously Ronaldo and Man United are party company? And if you have, what's your opinion on it?
Well, I think it's a good thing, for sure. I think it's more of a... Well, I think it's a good thing for both of them, to be honest. I'm still not quite sure what to think of the whole interview in full, to be honest. But
Have you watched it? Have you watched the interview?
Yeah. I think it shines a lot of light on possibly the shambles that is the back room of United. Mm-hmm. That I think we've all had instincts of that anyway, and I'm just glad it's come out if that is the case. But I think we need to hear their side of the story before we start jumping to conclusions.
And have you seen that Manchester United have said that they're the Glazers are looking to sell now? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that came out after the Ronaldo thing, that they're now says they're looking for new investment. They're looking to move on to St Kelson up for sale. What's your view of that?
Well, there you go. Well, it says a lot, doesn't it? I think maybe, there's got to be a lot behind what Ronaldo says is truth, and I think maybe they're bolting while the gate's open, maybe.
Jumping before they... All right, so while you're on, we might as well, we introduced ourselves and our nicknames and our families and our current handicap. I don't know if you want to do that yourself while you're here and tell everybody your name, your SPADS nickname, your current handicap, and tell us about your wonderful family.
I am Lee Goebel. My SPADS nickname is Moneypenny. The reason being, it's because everybody thinks I organise everything but never show up. It's
ironic, really, isn't it?
Where are you?
It's funny that.
I'm a busy man. What more can I say? I don't have a 9-to-5 job, and my kids are a pain in the backside. Regarding my family, my beautiful family, my beautiful wife Terry, and my beautiful kids Jackson and Daisy.
And your handicap? And your handicap?
What? My handicap is currently 18.8. I believe.
Yeah, it is 18.8. We will at some stage go more deep dive into all of our families and different things. But I just thought for today, for the first one, I thought we would just sort of introduce. Well, we'll let you get on with work, mate. Sorry to miss you.
I couldn't be there.
We'll hope you're on next week, and we will catch up with you soon, bud. All right.
You can go back to the
Thank you. Thanks all.
All right, buddy. Speak to you soon. Yeah.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. I don't think I actually said my nickname.
No, you didn't.
I didn't know.
You didn't give us the
build up.
Yeah.
This better be good.
Dangerous.
Dangerous Dave.
Because no one wants to mess with Dangerous Dave.
Is that really the reason you're called Dangerous?
Well, someone's got to find out sooner or later, haven't they?
It's because he's a complete opposite.
Yeah, basically, Dave only eats beige food and doesn't drink. He's the only teetotaler of the group. And it's actually your missus that give you the nickname.
Yeah, well, I've got to look after these guys anyway, but, so... Yeah,
To be fair,
sensible one, me.
To be fair, he does.
He does look after us,
does.
but yeah, your name isn't Dangerous because you're some sort of weapon. I mean, you are a weapon.
Weapon of mass destruction, yeah. But
He is a bit of a tool.
No, you're very sort of very calm. We don't lose your temper very often, Dave. Do you? You're kind of
no, just the last 2 rounds of golf.
yeah. That has been bad. So let's again talk about that briefly. Where's the golf game been recently? Kev, you've been going through some swing changes. Had a lesson. How's that been going, and how's that changed your whole situation?
It's kind of good because I was getting a bit stagnated, like where I needed to improve and I needed a bit of guidance where you guys sort of give me the tips, which is great because we all give each other tips, but sometimes you have to have a lesson to make it get into what you need to learn. So had a lesson with Will at Leighton Buzzard Golf Club, and to be fair, obviously it was my grip, which you guys said, grip, finger, obviously my right hand coming around a bit more, which has obviously made a massive improvement, and then obviously swinging actually my club's right back, so my arm is going across my chin, which I'm doing most of the time, and then obviously not looking up for the ball before I've even hit the ball, which I'm getting there, but it's persistence. But to be fair, I've seen improvement, just want to be a bit more consistent, but we get there.
It's going through swing changes. So all of us are having lessons because, as our handicap suggests,
we all need them.
we all need them. Dave, me and you, we go to the same coach currently.
Yep.
We currently go to Sam Smith over in Bedford. You're obviously in the middle of some swing changes, grip changes and stuff.
Stance change and everything like that. First lesson was fantastic. Swing changed a little bit. Stopped me slicing it, which has been amazing. But now, stance has changed and... Oh dear.
You're a bit up straight in you now, Dave. A bit straighter.
Yeah, I'm too straight, and I'm just literally fatting the ball every single time. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, and you're caught up in between now, aren't you? You're not sure whether to go back to your original way or trust the process.
Yeah, sound like an Arsenal fan there. Trust the process,
Arteta ball.
Yeah, I kind of want to stay, but I want to go back. But I know he knows what he's talking about, so he's got to be, half decent at his job. So I've got to trust him, and then hopefully in 6 weeks' time, after Christmas, New Year, the new swing will be all perfect, the stance will be fine, and I'll be, pushing my handicap down to single figures where I should be.
That's the thing about, if anyone's obviously played golf, you understand how hard it is. If you've ever had a lesson, you understand how hard lessons are, because you come out at first worse than when you went in.
100%,
so you go in there hitting the ball to a certain extent, you might slice it or whatever, but you're making contact most of the time. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden you come at your lesson and now you can't hit the ball or it's like, but again, you have to go through that process, don't you?
Yeah, you do. It's like everything in life. You have to take the rough with the smooth, and hopefully, you end up being the greatest player in the world.
Do you not think though sometimes, because I come out of mine, I knew it was never going to be like, right, I'm sorted, but you come out like you say, it's I've got to go through the change, and I've seen you boys go through the change, but then I come out, I was like, you're right, I want to play, and then the next lesson I come out, I was like, yeah, I'm going to smash, not like I'm going to smash it and do it, but then suddenly you go, no, here we go, this is what we need to work on. So then you go back to right grip, swing, your stance, but it's worth it 100%. And if you talk to anyone about golf, they always say, have you had lessons? No, get a lesson. And it's true. Don't get me wrong, it's not cheap, but it's 100% worth it.
I think it's one of the only sports that you have to have lessons to get to a certain level.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And we're not at a certain level, we're terrible, but...
we might play one weldy shot around, and that's about it,
That's what I think will be important about this pod. I think could be quite good. Hopefully, eventually, we're going to get some golf content on the course, us hitting the balls and some general watching us play. But it'll be interesting to see over this pod of how our handicap hopefully decreases and just to talk about. But we don't want to just make it about golf. Obviously, an important thing to talk about at the moment. We're currently in the middle of the Qatar World Cup. England yesterday, obviously, start off with that. A 6-2 over the massive footballing nation of Iran.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What do we think, boys? Good performance? Good start?
I was quite happy with. I mean, I didn't watch the game live. I was quite happy to see. I was working. Sorry, can't sit in the pub.
I think you were sleeping in the van, weren't you?
Yeah. How can you not watch the
I
England
was
game?
quite pleased with the lineup because I was a bit more worried that he was going to go 5 at the back, and I thought you can't always do the 5 at the back or the 4-4-2. I think you're going to see a lot of the teams at the World Cup. They're not going to be playing their first 11 the whole time because of it's in the middle of a season. I think the way the teams are playing, I think you're going to see a lot of chop and change. But I was pleased he played very attacking. And
Surely,
I think
if we went 5-3-2 against Iran, we might as well get our coat out.
exactly.
Yeah,
you
that's
don't
it,
need
yeah.
to, do you?
If you're doing 5-3-2 against them,
I mean,
we might as well
Trippier
not
is it
bother.
Trippier was quite far up, weren't he? Mate,
It was a good performance. The 2 goals, obviously disappointing. You wanted a clean sheet, but the 6 goals, they look good going forward and attacking.
Yeah, if football, you got to score more.
Yeah.
If you can keep scoring, that's the old Brazil way. You score 3, I'll score 4. If you can do that, perfect.
I think they're a bit away from Brazil. I think it was a Brazil performance.
We've got all good individual players, but is he the right man to bring them all together and play as a team? And sometimes individuals, it might be all world class, but you don't make a good team.
No.
I was worried it was going to be one of those games that just sort of was like a 1-0 or a scrape 2-1 or something like that.
Teams like that, you've got to blow them away. If you don't, you're not going to learn from it. It's a bit like when United a few years ago, we always do all right against the top teams, but the lower teams would struggle. And it's what England used to do, didn't they? Mm-hmm. They'd go against these teams and be like, nick a 1-0 or a 1-1 draw. And it was like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like the talent we've got, and we've got loads of talent, we should be smashing teams. And that's what we should do. Yeah, 2 goals conceded, but you know what? Team come through it and they played well, and we didn't. Let's be honest, we didn't really go into full gear. Rashford come on. Do you know what I mean?
He looked good when he came on.
Yeah,
he did okay.
3 touches and a goal, weren't he? Yeah.
So what do we think to Ivan Toney not being picked, but him? See,
I'd imagine it's to do with the betting scandal.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, probably got to do it. But what I said, I didn't want Tony to be picked and just left on the bench, and that's why I got asked a question by some friends. Would you pick Rashford, even though I'm a Man United fan? I said, look, I'd pick Rashford simply because I know he's going to play him, because he likes him. I wouldn't have picked Tony because he's going to sit there. Obviously, the betting thing was probably...
Yeah, I think that possibly was part of it. I'm
Yeah.
assuming they knew that beforehand. Is it USA next?
Yeah,
Friday?
USA Friday.
Obviously, they drew 1-1 with Wales. Did anyone watch that?
I watched a little bit of it. The Welsh, they look real passionate, and they all look like they're united in one team, and they're not great, but that passion wins you things,
Bale was a bit poor though, wasn't he?
Yeah, but come on, he's only played like 3 or 4 games in a year.
He was poor.
He scored the penalty. Was it a penalty?
Yeah, but he was poor. But then they were polar opposites, weren't they? Half and half was...
Yeah, first half, USA were fantastic. Second half, Wales were the better side. But I think we should beat USA easily.
Yeah.
And I think the Welsh game, if we won against USA, will Southgate play a weakened team because he's like, well, we'll rest some players.
Yeah.
Which makes sense if you've won the second game.
Yeah. But we want to win all 3. We want to beat the Welsh, but I think the Welsh will be more up for the game than what England will be.
Yeah, especially if we've won the first 2, that would definitely be.
Yeah.
Who do we think gets out? So obviously we think England tops the group.
I think England should top the group. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And who do we think gets out? Who do we think second?
Ooh, I'm going to.
I'm guessing we're writing off Iran. I'm guessing.
They hadn't lost for how many games we conceded, had they? I'm going to say I think Wales will. I really think Wales will go through. I think.
Kev?
I think Wales will get something against us.
Okay. So we think England top, Wales second.
That's it, yeah.
Because of the passion, and it's playing against us, isn't it?
You sound like him now. That's what he's been going with.
Passion.
Obviously, we talked about the first game, obviously, Qatar versus Ecuador. Qatar, the first hosts to lose.
What a sham that was.
I didn't.
Did you see the offside? Did you see the goal, Dave, that got ruled?
Goal?
That got ruled offside.
I didn't, but you look at I saw the steals and his knee was in front. It's
so bad.
The rules are the rules, aren't they? Yeah. If you can just doctor it for a little bit more money, then why not?
Talking of just reminded me, Harry Maguire.
I I didn't see that, but I've heard.
Mike, that VAR, you didn't see it either.
No, I
did you?
didn't see it.
Right, so early in the first half, Maguire gets basically rugby tackled to the
Oh
ground.
yeah, I did. Yeah, sorry, I did
Right?
see it because I saw it today. Yeah,
Doesn't get given.
yeah.
Okay, so that's wrong anyway. Because what's the point of having VAR if
They're not actually going
if
to.
you're not going to use it? But then you might think, okay, well that's how they're going to do those whole situations.
Yeah,
And then obviously they get a penalty for something that was nowhere near
Yeah.
as bad. And that's what makes VAR
A joke. Consistency. It's always been consistency with VAR and referees, even before VAR was out. If you haven't got the consistency, that's where people get more annoyed.
yeah.
absolutely.
Isn't there 7 people on the VAR now? In there's 7 people, and
It doesn't take 7
No,
people.
no, not at all.
And it doesn't take 2.5 minutes. If it
No.
takes 2.5 minutes,
Then you shouldn't be looking at it.
yeah,
That's-
exactly.
It's either too tight, just get on with the game, forget about it. VAR's good and it is bad.
It's that consistency is the key. Other results, obviously, we'll just briefly talk about too much.
Just got to send a picture, sorry.
Are you all right, Dave? What are you taking a picture of?
Selfie.
No, I've got to send a picture to the wife of the kids from going to Brownies for their RNLI 300,000 steps in November challenge.
And you got to send that now, have you?
I have, because I'll only be 2 seconds.
Priorities.
Okay, yeah. So if you're not sure who wears the trousers in Dave's
It's
memory,
Sophie.
it's Sophie, because here he is in a podcast having to send a picture because his wife requested it. No, so obviously Netherlands, Senegal, 2-0 Netherlands. Again, probably what we'd expected with that. The main one today, which I've written down wrong, Argentina, Saudi Arabia,
yeah.
2-1, wasn't it?
Yeah, shocking.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Did
crazy.
Argentina not play the full strength and sort of expected to win or something? Because I know Martinez. I'm not saying Martinez that plays for us. He didn't start, but did they not play?
Honestly,
I don't know.
I don't know. I was at work.
Well,
I didn't take it.
Well, it was on the customer's house, and Argentina had 3 goals disallowed for offside in the
Were they
first
offside,
half.
were they?
Were they offside?
Borderline, tight.
Yeah.
They were offside. But again, them sort of calls, to me, they should just carry on. It's how can you get it exactly the right time? It was got passed to where it, you could never do it. But then, the Saudis just came out and they just had a game plan. Hack Messi. Just take Messi out, and
Because the problem is, if you do, the thing is, if you do that, the rest of the Argentine team get wound up, and it don't benefit them because they don't think, right, we're going to beat you. They sort of get more wound up with.
they want
Messi bit.
they want to scrap.
Yeah, exactly.
South
No,
Americans
that's
love
correct,
a scrap.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Bit of generalisation there,
well,
Dave.
there's a lot of good South American boxers.
We'll talk about boxing in a bit because there's some boxing on the weekend. But yeah, so obviously a shock result for Argentina. I'm sure they'll still get through. I'm sure they'll recover
still
from
think
it.
they're a sneaky little favourite.
There was some computer or something that's predicted the last 3 World Cup winners has picked Argentina to win this time.
I've got a strong feeling about them. As much as I want to.
Have you?
Yeah.
It'd be Messi's last World Cup, won't it? He's never won
That's
it.
a fairy tale, though, isn't it?
It is. And
No, that's like in a dream.
Yeah,
It'll
but
be that.
He's been playing well for PSG. This last year, he's been playing really well.
Yeah, but I'd play well in PSG if you surround me with that many good players.
and Farmers League as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just ribbing off Messi like he's.
Dave's just lighting fires over it.
Get some French fans calling in.
That's not a football league, is it? Come on,
No.
There's
No, it's
2 or
not
3 teams who play decent football in that league, and the rest is just dog shit. It's like watching Man United play.
It's not the biggest league in the.
So, Dave, are you not going to the French league then? Is that what you're saying? If you get the offer.
Oh well, yeah.
Dave's ruled himself out the PSG move, live and exclusive on SPADS.
You hit that in first.
they wouldn't be able to afford me.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Say that.
We haven't mentioned what you do for a living. Dave is a heating engineer, aka a plumber, although he doesn't like that term, because he's more qualified than a plumber.
Exactly.
Is his common thing.
I don't deal with shit.
So
I just have to be with you shit.
So PSG probably haven't got enough money for Dave because we all know what tradesmen earn. The other results: Denmark versus Tunisia 1-1. That was a bit of a surprise. I thought Denmark would.
Was it 1-1 in the end? I thought it was 0-0.
No, it's
the same. It's a draw. Dave.
Yeah, I know it's a draw, but yeah.
Mexico Poland 0-0.
Yeah, Lewandowski, whatever his name is, Mr. Penalty, didn't it?
Lewandowski, yeah.
And France Australia was 2-1 when we started recording this podcast. I don't know what it is now. So that sort of rounds up the World Cup. What do we think of England's chances realistically? Do we think we've got a chance? Do we think it's coming home?
I think we any knockout tournament, you got a chance. It's one game at a time. You know, we're good enough to win. You know, on our day, we can win anything. It's like any team. They all can win. It's just what team turns up, and as long as he puts Trent in the final, we'll win.
He can't be in the team, Trent, at the moment, can he?
Nah, to be fair, you know, he's a great player, but out of form, you know, and he's not suited to the England way of football.
We don't have a formation for him, do we?
No.
We don't do it. But I'm not being funny. The team we've got, if Southgate plays a little bit more attacking than what he did, let's be honest, in the Euros, if he was just that little bit more attacking, we could have beat Italy.
Well, we should have beat it.
Yeah.
They were a poor team, and they beat it with some penalties.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. The way that other teams have played at the minute don't exactly look like not only one I'm fearing.
So who do we think? If it's not England, you said Argentina. Is there any others you fear?
Brazil. They've got.
You never write Brazil off, can you?
Got a great squad. Lots of young players who are keen.
Haven't they got like 7 strikers or something picked for their team?
Probably.
It's ridiculous. 7 is ridiculous.
Play them all up front at once.
Yeah, that's it. Just keep scoring goals. They can't defend, so why?
So it was the Brazilian way, Dave.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you score 2, we score 4 or 3, whatever.
So Brazil, any others? Do we think any other dark horses? Anything? It's just England, Brazil, and Argentina. Is that the 3?
Yeah.
But then again, you can't ever the Germany in there.
Germans.
Yeah, you can't really.
Yeah,
you can never write them off. Big tournaments, they always turn up.
I'm not really. I don't know. I suppose like a lot of them, like Spain and everyone, they've got all the players in it. I don't know. I think they go. I think them teams seem to be going. Those countries seem to be going through a little bit of sort of transition, a little bit where Germany are sort of going through that. A few players that are aged, and I think they're going through.
You made me question that. Are Germany in it?
I don't know.
Yeah, they are in it.
They are.
Yeah, they're just not really. They've not been.
I just
talked about.
It just sort of threw me off.
Oh no, well I'm not.
I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
But then who's going to be the dark horse? You know, the team who are going to like
Saudi Arabia,
like your Greece in the Euros when they got
I
there.
don't think there will be one.
No,
I'm not. I'm not.
Well, World Cup I think is harder to get through, isn't it? I think you get more chance of that in Euros. Fewer teams.
Yeah. It's only a few big teams, isn't there?
Yeah,
really?
there's a lot in the World Cup. It's a big one. So that kind of wraps up the World Cup as we sit at the moment. And where we are, there's some boxing on this weekend, and I'm really interested to find out what you guys know about this. For those that do or don't know, I work in professional boxing, as well as work for companies financial services. So obviously, I'm more aware of the boxing that goes on because I work in it. But obviously, you guys are boxing fans, but more casual boxing fans, so to speak. Did you know Dillian White's fighting this weekend?
No, I didn't. No,
I did, but it's only because TalkSport occasionally say about it.
Who was he fighting? You're the boxing pro. Yeah,
Franklin. Maybe he's fighting some 21-0 American.
Oh,
but that's a prime example. I work in it, and we talked about it yesterday on a different podcast, and I can't remember who he's fighting. I can't remember his name.
So he's not exactly. Because he's 121 doesn't mean he's fantastic.
No, that's the key. Do you think since Hearn has moved from Sky, and obviously Boxer on Sky now, are you less aware of Matchroom and Hearn's shows?
The only time I hear about it is because of TalkSport, and that's because TalkSport have a little bit of loving, don't they? Because of their presenters work on. For
DAZN, isn't it? There's some there.
But I don't think you do. You don't get no exposure. It's just it's really weird.
It's a strange thing because Matchroom are great. I think they're definitely one of the best in the country. I think Boxer are up there as well, and obviously Frank Warren as well. But it's been interesting since they've moved from Sky about how little people know about their events, and I just didn't know whether you guys were aware of the show the weekend. Really,
no, not at all. Didn't really know there was anything on.
I've already heard it like twice, and that's through the week. Yeah.
And what about Boxer? Since Boxer come on, Ben Chellum, have you noticed more boxing, or do you notice it's just sort of falling away a bit?
I notice it a bit more because I see it advertised more on Sky. It feels like there's more boxing on Sky, not just Saturday nights. It's like it's on Fridays as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they've actually got one this week on Sunday,
Yeah.
Boxer, which is a really good show. Actually, it's definitely well worth watching. If you haven't watched much boxing, this show this Sunday is excellent. Some really good trades fights. There won't be many people on there you'd have necessarily heard of, that they hadn't heard of, but in terms of fights, there's some really, really good fights on this weekend. But so I'm just interested. John Ryder fights this weekend as well, and again, I just didn't know whether you was aware of any boxing that goes on.
To be fair, only when you see the big fights, advertised. That's all I really kind of see. Or if you tell me you're doing a corner for someone on Channel 5. I'll put it on and have a watch. See your ugly mutt on there.
Who's the who are the boxers at the moment that you would watch if they were on the telly? So obviously we're talking about just normal ones. Which ones would you think? Yeah, if they were fighting, whoever they were fighting, I'd watch it. So is Dillian Whyte in that category? Now he's fighting this weekend. Would you watch him this weekend?
Not really.
I like the heavyweights. When they go for it, it's fantastic. Just two big guys having a slugfest is amazing. It's great. So I'll probably if I've got a bit of chance, I'll stick it on.
So White's one, and you said no, Kev.
I got a bit disappointed with Dillian Whyte because I always thought, I kind of like him. And I think he's got a bit about him, but then the Tyson.
He's a great guy, to be fair.
Yeah, the Tyson Fury thing disappointed me. I didn't expect him to beat Tyson Fury. I just thought he had a little bit more, and the whole thing where he wasn't doing a promotion, I was like, fair enough. And it seemed like he got into the ring and he was scared, like he was defeated already, and I felt like it was just a payday for him. Which, don't get me wrong, obviously Derek Chisora, that's his thing. I don't care because he's honest, but he's entertaining, and But I got a bit disappointed with Dillian Whyte, but I really like watching Joe Joyce.
Okay.
It's just a shame that he's a bit older because I wished because he's a big lad. Yeah,
he's brilliant, and I like his personality. He got a bit of a stick from his personality because he's a bit wooden on camera and everything. Yeah. But I actually think that's quite part of his charm. I quite like the fact that he's not as polished and he is a bit robotic, and he is. I warm to him a bit because he's like
a boxer. He's boxing. He's not.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a casual guy. You can chat to him. He's easy, but say you get to, but he's not a jump up and down, TV type person. But he's a hell of a fighter.
Yeah, and anyone who's doing it for a living out on TV and stuff like that, they're going to be a good fighter.
Yeah.
You got to have something wrong to stand in the ring and want to be punched in the head. Why is that fun?
So you'd watch Dillian Whyte. You'd obviously Joshua. You'd watch. I'm assuming. Is there any others you think if they were obviously I'm assuming Fury as well.
Yeah, I'd watch Fury.
Usyk as well. I'm guessing if he was on.
Usyk. I like Usyk.
Yeah,
he's different.
So it's mainly the big boys, really.
The big boys,
I get a bit annoyed about Conor Benn, really, because I quite liked him.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. From the outside in, what's your opinion of what's happened from what you know, and what do you think as casual boxing fans, do you think it means for the sport of boxing and for Conor Benn? So what's your overall impression of it?
So, it don't look good for Conor Benn because the way that he's acted in it. Kind of a bit weird that when it come out, it was so close to the fight, considering that it's come out that a lot of people knew before that. I weren't sure about the fight anyway because the weight, it just weren't right. They were just doing it for the names. I understand for both of them, it was a lot of money, and I get that. But as much as it's the dream, but they're not the same weights.
No, what the counteract that most people didn't know about this is, yes, it wasn't the same weights, and there was a worry that Eubank was coming down too low. What they did do for Eubank, again, what people know, is they put in weekly check weights. So what they mean is that with a check weight, you have to be weighed at certain periods of time. In a normal title fight, it's one within 30 days and then one within 3 days of the contest.
Yeah.
To make sure that you're not too far over, that you're crashing the weight. What they did with the Eubank was they put in weekly check weights, so he was being checked every week to make sure the weight was coming down gradually and safely, or as safe as it can be. There was still obviously an element of danger to it, but they did try to combat that with that. I'm not saying it was right, but that's one thing. But so obviously we know now that he's failed 2 tests. What's your impression of the sport and Conor Benn in itself? Has it tainted your view of him currently? Obviously, we don't know the full facts. There's still an investigation going on. What's your opinions?
To me, the sport's not been affected, but for him, taking drugs to improve your performance, it's supposed to be an even field. If you're not good enough, you shouldn't be in that field, And
that's if he has done it to that. Obviously, allegedly at the moment, we're not 100% sure whether he has, but he's failed the drugs test, and he's now got to come up with a reason of why that's in his system.
But if you've got drugs in your system, which you're not supposed to, if you had a reason, you'd be out of that reason straight away. Mm-hmm. So he's just trying to probably put a few things together and say, well, these are the reasons, and and they're not. He's probably getting some drug specialist say, well, if you took these, it was for this, you could say for that, and no.
So if he comes out now and there is a reason, a legitimate reason or an accepted reason, does that change your opinion of him regardless now of how it's happened? Do you look at him now and think? You'd always think there was something. Yeah,
I always think there's something because he's taken now for a reason. It might be legitimate, but why doesn't he come out with it straight away?
Contamination or cross-contamination, which is potentially legitimate. Again, we have to treat it as if
possible.
It's possible, but has it tainted your view of him? Is the key. Dave says it's tainted his view of him, regardless.
I think it has because I quite liked him because I thought he's a bit. They've got a bit of attitude, but I kind of like that. But I think not funny by now. If he, to me, looks like he's been caught. I know it's allegedly. Looks to me like he's been caught and thrown his toys at his pram.
Well, he's definitely failed 2 drugs tests. What we don't know is whether he's
why he's had him.
Why it's got it in his system. That's what we don't know, and that's what's going on.
I didn't like the whole thing about it. Really, even Eddie Hearn was the biggest hypocrite going, which everyone showed the videos about it. But it's the whole testing thing. It's like, oh well, I'm going to go to these, and it's like, we'll sue for this. Yeah, you fat. They should the whole. I mean, that's a big thing in the boxing thing. The whole testing thing and samples and all this stuff. It is just ridiculous. I mean, how it gets managed. I mean, it doesn't really get managed properly, does it? I mean, obviously, I know you're in boxing. I don't expect you to go into everything about it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's a bit unclear about the process that happens. It's interesting you said there about the Hearn thing where you thought he a hypocrite. Do you not think that they have a close relationship, they're friends, and if Conor Benn come to him and said, look, I'm innocent, which again that we didn't know at the time, bearing in mind this happens very real time and it happens very quickly, would you not want, as a mate, let's say for instance, Dave come to us and said, Dave is a boxer and he'd failed a drugs test and he come to us and said, look, innocent, would we come out and defend him first of all?
Yeah, I suppose.
So is that what Hearn's done? And do we think that's wrong? Or again, I
think it's because what Hearn said about other boxers, didn't he? That's where I think it was a little bit, which I don't expect him to say, well, yeah, he might have done it. I understand that he's going to protect him as his client, isn't it?
Sure, yeah, and it's his mate as well. I imagine they have a close relationship.
Yeah, I just think, but then to be fair, Eddie Hearn is a bit of a TV man and he likes, all these videos are going to come back to stuff that he said in the past is always going to come back, but he
embraces that quite well though. I think I know he gets a bit of shit from time, but I actually think he does it pretty well. I think he handles it quite well. He laughs at himself, and I think he does a pretty good job. But again, I'm a little bit isolated from it. What is your opinion of it, of that, Dave, and the whole Hearn situation?
Well, like you said, if one of your mates.
You're not. But
yeah, I'm just an acquaintance. I just turn up. Just to make
we
the
never
numbers.
know when we need our heating fixed.
Just get mates rates. But yeah, if it's one of your mates, you're always going to stick up for him. But I think previously of what he has said, it is a bit hypocritical. Maybe he's a good media man. He should have gone. Hang on a minute. I've got to just step back and not speak with my heart as he's my mate, and I've got to do it right. And then not look bad, but you know what? He probably like you say, he likes the limelight. It's getting him publicised. It's getting him out there again. It's probably making him more money in a way.
Yeah, I think it was a perfect storm in a way, and I have some sympathy for Hearn in the fact that this was happening when there was loads of media around him at that time. It was obviously a couple of days before the event. So there's 100 people with a microphone that wants to know his answer while these things are happening live almost in terms of where we're seeing it unfold. We don't know if the fight's going ahead. They're talking about a different commission. Everyone wants an answer from him. And I've seen these media things. You don't do 2 interviews. You're doing 40 interviews, one after the other. You know, you've got the papers, you've got the TV channels, you've got the online sites, so there's only so many times you can say the same thing, and everyone's asking you different questions, people expect an answer.
They didn't do an interview in the end, did they? They just released a statement, didn't they?
They released a statement afterwards to say it was cancelled, but obviously at the time, when this wasn't sure where it was going on, obviously people were asking him all sorts of questions. So I do think it's always better in hindsight to look back and say, oh, he shouldn't have said this and that. But when things happen,
it's hard. Like you say, heat of moment. You just say it as it is, and you might regret it. But when you're a professional media man in that way, you've got to step back. It's like the whole interviews after football games. It's so hard. When something's happened, you might say the wrong thing. You just got to think, right, give us 5 minutes, and then got to respond.
Has it affected your view of Matchroom? So I'm assuming it wouldn't affect you in any way, that you wouldn't not watch their cards. It wouldn't bother you in any shape.
No, not really Matchroom, because they wouldn't be in control. That's a Conor Benn thing. That he's him and his trainer. That's not Matchroom. Matchroom, that's not down to them, is it? At the end of the day, that's not what they don't. That's him and his trainer, basically.
So it's not affected you in any way, and same for you, Dave?
Yeah, no, it's not affected. No, if it's boxing on and I like it, I'll watch it.
So it's kind of Ben you feel has been tainted, but the whole Hearn situation, no difference for you?
No, not at all.
All right, well, I think that's pretty much wrapped up most of the stuff we wanted to talk about today. Thank you for joining us, those that have joined us. My mum, do you know what? My wife won't even watch this.
I don't think mine will either.
No.
Right, Jacob and Riley will. Yeah. Lacey probably will as well.
So that's 4 views.
Yeah.
We'll get.
I don't think my kids will either. Sorry.
I'll watch it 10 times.
No. So look, we hope you found it interesting. This is what we're kind of do. This was just an idea that we wanted to do, just an excuse to get together really and chat some sport shite. But if you do want to see more, anything you want to talk about, get in contact, comment, like, all the normal stuff that you would do. Gentlemen, thank you very much, and we'll look forward to the next episode.